friend not in the story tells us about place to get palm readings. Lifting buddy and I go to get palms read. Show up to this shady place at 10 in the morning wearing our workout gear. Ghost Bee's Artie Myron, stereotypical scraggly gypsy woman, shakes her hands and seats us at the table with a crystal ball. Asks who wants to go first. Hispanic heritage kicks in and I nope at the last minute. Friend chads up to the plate. He flexes slightly. Woman goes from smiling to horrified. Starts grabbing and studying his hands like a last will. Feeling weird, man. Tells my friend he got something following him. Ask him if he did any of that Ouija voodoo poop. Says he smashed a hole in the wall when he was drunk lifting at home. Says there was some type of decorative skull behind it that he now uses as decoration in his bedroom. Gypsy lets us leave without paying. At the gym 30 minutes later, spotting friend while he benches. Some newbie dummy is curling next to us, like no joke, 6 inches away from us. Dude slips up and swings a 20 he's holding at friend's head. Throws the bar up and ducks at the same time. Almost impale myself trying to catch the bar. Newbie apologizing while friend gets back up and I'm pooping myself still. Tells friend he should go home. Friend looks unfazed and wants to continue. Leave to Abuela's sister's house to get some sage and silver. Go back to gym and give it to friend. Next day. Friend looks happier than normal. Tells me some weird poop went down in his house. Says the power was dead even though his bills were paid and the rest of the neighborhood had power. Heard rattling of silverware. Uses flashlight app to see. Saw a silhouette of someone crawl under the kitchen counter. Nothing under the counter, not even shelves. Friend doesn't believe in Ouija poop and believes it's an intruder or an animal. Friend grabs his pull-up bar and gets ready for sweet, fit justice. Yelps obscenities while patrolling his house. Says he sees what looks like a small humanoid crouched in his weight room. Gives 0 Fs and tosses the pull-up bar at the window. Shatters like linklet kneecaps squatting. Thing nowhere in sight. Friend then starts to consider Ouija poop. Calls other friend for advice. Our lifting group have some odd characters. Johnny answers and tells him to burn the sage and carry the silver. Says he'll be by with some holy water. Drops it off. I'll call my grandma tomorrow to help. She's one of the medium people. Friend sits down on his couch while the house smells like old. Watches American Dad. Looks at the sage, dried up and out. Goes to his pocket for the silver. Effing melted. Instead of warm, it was cold. Starts to see something dart back and forth across the room. TV goes off and static comes on. Says high-pitched screaming fills the house. Friend gets mildly annoyed. Walks over to the weight room, smashes the skull against the wall in a fluid motion. Like imagine walking into a room, tipping over a vase, then going back to doing whatever you were doing. He said he did that, except threw the skull against a wall. Says how shook, screaming got higher. Then stopped. Lights go off again. Hears numerous footsteps getting closer to him. Tells me he's mildly freaked out at this point. I'm very concerned that he said, mildly. Says he doused himself in holy water and started swinging as hard as he could into the darkness. Says he heard the footsteps getting further away. Screams, Starts running around his house swinging in the darkness. F's up his living room in the process. Tells me he swears he made contact with something fleshy a few times. Doesn't remember falling asleep. Wakes up and goes to the gym to tell me this the next day. Friend goes outside to make frequent calls throughout his routines. Asks him if he's trying to get in touch with a priest. Tells me he's been calling his home phone and leaving angry voice messages for the ghosts. Says he would buy a snake just to flatten it out with a rolling pin until it dies. Friend goes home again. Fast forward a few days. Looks completely normal. Asks Johnny if lifting buddy was alright. Tells me it's disturbing how well he is handling the situation. Says he went to lifting buddy's house to check up on the stitch. Feels a presence, but it feels scared. Lifting buddy walks out of the bathroom naked, wiping his A with a Ouija board towel. Throws it on the floor and kicks it into the living room. Pours more holy water on it, then takes it outside to burn it. Asks friend if he is hungry.
Sure.
Says he pulls out an open Ouija board he bought at Spencer's and uses it as a cutting board. Says he repeatedly stabbed the cutting knife into the board when he was not using it. Breaks the board in half after he's done chopping up tomatoes and throws it in the trash. Even I think this is disrespecting the spirits too much. They both eat grilled chicken, salad, then Johnny leaves. Says on the way out, lifting buddy goes into the lifting room and puts on another crucifix on the wall.
I'm putting this on the wall, and I'll be back to effing masturbate on my bench press while thinking about Lucifer's daughter.
Punches a hole in the wall before leaving. Johnny calls his abuela that night. Abuela goes into lifting buddy's house with a priest next day. Says her abuela and priest were also amazed/disturbed with how lifting buddy is fighting the situation. Priest actually cowered and admired lifting buddy, pissing naked on the satanic Bible he bought at some shady bookstore. Tells priest he walks around naked a lot lately and talks poop about Satan. Priest leaves before cleansing. Abuela stays to do her medium thing. Tries to contact the spirits. Says it was a group of entities that were very pissed their shrine was disturbed. Tells her that they have no power since lifting buddy isn't remotely scared of anything they've done. Lifting buddy walks back to weight room with a dead snake. Abuela says the entities scatter like roaches.
Check out what I found on the street this morning.
Takes a bite out of apple.
Effing dead snake.
Throws the snake on the floor. Puts holy water and salt on it. Kicks it into the carpet a few times before peeling it off and throwing it into the trash can in the kitchen. Abuela is WTFing at this man's mental strength or ignorance. Tries contacting spirits again. They keep running from her. Finally talks to one. Says they are scared of lifting buddy. Ghosts are scared of my bulky friend. Abuela asks what could make them pass on. Says they did black magic to get revenge on some landlord from way back when. Says they had incriminating poop to shame his family with in the wall with the skull. Abuela tells lifting buddy what he needs to do. Lifting buddy goes into the weight room. Makes the hole in the wall bigger by throwing a 15 through the wall. Finds a folder with records of some sort. I'm not lying about this, I swear, especially this next part. Lifting buddy flips through the papers, then wipes his balls with it. Abuela horrified. Crumples them up and throws them into the corner of the room. Tells the spirits to piss off, then punches another hole in the wall. Total of 13 holes at this point. Abuela says, "May God have mercy," in Spanish, then leaves. Goes back to lifting buddy's house a month later. He immediately goes into weight room. More holes than wall, destroyed AF, but like Halo descending from the heavens. The bench press and squatting rack are still there. Tries to contact spirits, nothing. Smiles and asks my friend, what if he did what needed to be done? Again, not lying about any of this. Tells Abuela he uncrumpled the papers and got the address of this bastard. Papers were only from 60 years ago, so the guy was still alive, just old as dust. Finds the address of this guy in some sort of mansion. Knocks on the door wearing a Get Swole, You Must Yoda tank top, board shorts, pink sunglasses, and a backwards Chicago Bulls snapback. Johnny said Lifting Buddy went into a lot of detail about his wardrobe for this. Some scrawny white guy in his mid-30s opens the door. Lifting Buddy holds out the papers and asks for the person in the paper's name.
Hey Dad, someone's here to see you. He has documents.
Lifting Buddy lets himself in and finds Old Man in the studies.
Who are you?
Notices the paper.
Where did you get that?
Old Man tries to grab the papers. Lifting Buddy punches the old man in the face. Dentures fly out. Says it was like some old poop out of a movie. Guy's son runs in and jumps on Lifting Buddy's back. Lifting Buddy punches him until he hobbles out to the hallway and pukes. Tells Old Man to set poop right, or he will be back for blood. Leaves. Fast forward a couple days. Various cars outside of Lifting Buddy's house. Thinks the old man brought some friends and grabs his pull-up bar. Walks outside in his tank top and house shorts. Various families are thanking him and giving him home-cooked foods. Thank him for getting their grandparents' properties back. A couple days later, Johnny goes back to Lifting Buddy's house. Nobody there. Gets a phone call from a random number. Answers. Lifting Buddy currently in a local detention facility, awaiting court date. Turns out the crumpled papers were care packages that the old crusty man had stashed, and the ghosts were going to use them to get their revenge.